rocking around the Christmas tree at
Christmas is supposed to be a time of joy, giving, spending time with your family, appreciating your loved ones, and celebrating, but not for these families. Before we get started, make sure you guys are subscribed. Also hit that notification bell so that you guys know when I post. Let's get started. The first one we are going to be talking about is the Covina Massacre. This happened on December 24th, 2008, Christmas Eve in Los Angeles, California. A man named Bruce Jeffrey Pardo was part of a loving family. Well, so we thought. The week before the massacre happened, Pardo's wife had actually settled for a divorce. Bruce was very angry about this and he refused to pay child support for his 3 children. Of course, this caused drama at home, but what happened next is unbelievable. At around 11:30 p.m., Bruce arrived at his former in-laws' house dressed as Santa Claus. He knocked on the door during a Christmas Eve party. There were 25 people attending the party. He was carrying a gift-wrapped package, but what he had inside of the package is not what anyone would ever expect. Inside the package, there was a homemade flamethrower on a trolley and 2 semi-automatic handguns. On top of that, he also had 2 handguns hidden in his possession. When one of the family members answered the door, chaos broke out. He pulled out his 2 handguns and shot his 8-year-old niece. It turns out she was super excited to see her uncle and she was running to the front door to greet him when he shot her in cold blood. After he shot the little girl, he just began to fire at the entire party. Once he was done shooting, he then took out the flamethrower and gasoline and set the house on fire. A total of 9 people were killed by either the fire or the gunshots. Miraculously, the 8-year-old girl was one of the survivors. She was shot in the face with extremely severe, but fortunately non-life-threatening injuries. People were jumping out of windows, running through the back door, and finding other ways to escape. One woman who was 20 years old broke her ankle trying to escape. After the attack, Bruce put on his street clothes and drove away to his brother's house. He was later found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Unfortunately, he successfully killed his ex-wife, who we think he was aiming for. Her name was Sylvia Ortega, and she was 43 years old. She was one of the victims who were shot. He also killed Sylvia's mother, father, 2 brothers, and 3 sisters. The youngest person that died was 17 years old, and it was his nephew. He died during the fire. It's such a sad and disturbing story. There's one other story I'm going to get into, and it is equally as terrifying. This happened back in 1911. Charles David Lawson was married to Fanny Manring. They both had 8 children together. Unfortunately, the 3rd child was born in 1914 and he died of an illness in 1920. After the tragic loss in their family, they decided to move to Germantown. They all then worked as tenant tobacco farmers, eventually saving enough money to buy their own farm on Brook Cove Road. They seemed to be coping fine with the loss of their loved one, but what they didn't know is that Charlie had anger built up inside of him. In 1929, shortly before Christmas, Charlie took his whole entire family downtown to buy some clothes and have a family portrait taken. In this era, this was very uncommon, especially for a family of their class. This led to speculation that Charlie's act was premeditated. On Christmas Day in the afternoon, Charlie then unexpectedly shot his 2 daughters, Carrie and Maybelle. They say that he waited by the tobacco barn for them to shoot them where no one was around. He then went back to the house and shot his wife, who was just sitting on her porch. One of the daughters, named Marie, then screamed in horror. Two of the small boys, named James and Raymond, then tried to find a hiding spot because they were terrified. Charlie then went inside and shot Marie. He also found the two little boys hiding and shot them as well. Lastly, he went and found their baby, Mary Lou, and killed her. Several hours after the murders, he went into the woods and shot himself. The only survivor of the shooting was the oldest son, who was 19 years old, named Arthur. His dad had sent him on an errand just before committing the crime. Was he trying to protect Arthur from the madness that was about to occur? The bodies of the family members were found with their arms crossed with rocks underneath their heads. So what was the cause of Charlie to commit this crime to his family and himself? There are a couple theories on this motive. Months before this happened, they say that Charlie hit his head and sustained a pretty severe head injury. They believe that it was so severe that it altered his mental state and caused him to do this. But debunking that, there was an autopsy done on him and they found no brain abnormalities. Another theory on this motive was that Charlie's daughter Marie was actually pregnant with his child. Maybe he didn't want anyone to find out what he had done, but why would he kill his entire family? Why wouldn't he just kill Marie? Let me know in the comments below what you think these fathers had as a motive to do something as insane as kill your entire family. That concludes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed. Also, hit that notification bell so that you guys know when I post. Give my last video some love, and I will see you guys in my next video. Merry Christmas.